What's happening, guys? We are into day 22, I think, of the free-to-play challenge. 21, so 3 weeks. This is the video that I wish I had when I started a new account. It didn't exist, so I didn't have it, so I said I'd make it for you guys. Guys, this is going to give you the best start on your account. This is going to give you a link to get free champions. It is going to give you promo code for every day of your first week to get you started off in the best possible way so as you can kickstart your account and get ahead of the masses, guys. So even if you have started a recently new account, if you haven't used all of these, you can use some of them, but if it's a very new account, you might be better off starting again. Click on the link below. That's the first step, guys. That'll bring you to a new account sign up, and basically you can start with 5 champions under your belt already. So the first one is going to be Karato, and actually I'm going to break this down. So I'll give you one of the champions, I'll give you some promo codes, and we'll explain what each champion does as well, okay? So you're going to start off with Karato. You're going to pick your starter champion. So pick Kale. Kale is going to be the best option for you with his poisons. Then you're going to get Karato straight off the bat as well. If you use that link down below, use it, guys. It's the best one, okay? So he attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 20% chance of placing a weakened debuff. So on his A1, he has a triple hitter with up to 30% chance of placing weaken. On his A2, attacks one enemy and places a stun for 2 turns, okay? Grants an extra turn and resets the skill if you have Yumeko. You're not likely going to have Yumeko, but I hope you get her, actually. If you're watching this video, on the A3, attacks all enemies, has an 80% chance of placing block active skills. Incredibly useful in Arena, in Doom Tower, in any wave-based content or anything like that. Block active skills for 2 turns with a 100% chance when booked is massive. So that's going to be really good for you guys. And again, irresistible if you have Yumeko. Now, damage inflicted by Karato cannot be decreased by any enemy passive skills or mastery except by the passives of bosses. And it can't be increased by any ally passives either except when attacking bosses. So it's all positive here, okay? Now, if you do have Yumeko, again, I hope you get her. Best of luck with that. Whenever she dies, instantly grants a turn to him and resets the cooldown of all of his skills. He also brings a crit rate in all battles aura. A lot of people look down on that, but if he's your big champion at the start, having him in the lead in all battles means you only have to get the 80% crit rate. And that is a massive advantage at the start, guys. It really, really is, because it means you can build your champions to survive as well and build the other damage elsewhere. You're off to a great start there. You've picked Kale, you've done your tutorial, you've gotten Karato. It's day 1. So what's the first code that you're going to use here, okay? For me, we have actually, I said I have a code for every day of the week. For the first day, guys, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 codes for the first day, but it is a choice, okay? So we have Free Frog. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go here and we are going to go to our promo codes, okay? So the first one is Free Frog. Okay, so you type it in, you go to the 3 lines at the side, click on that, click on promo codes. Free Frog is the first choice. Don't necessarily use this one if you don't want. But what Free Frog does for you is it grants you Toragi the Frog, 20 magic brews, and 200k silver. Alright, so Toragi is also Shadowkin. So if you're thinking of faction wars, you now have 2 Shadowkin champions to work side by side to help you clear that. Now, Toragi is an epic HP champion. He has a decrease attack on the A1. He has a provoke on an AoE on the A2, and has a shield and ally protection on the A3, and also heals himself by 25% of their max HP and places a 30% reflect damage for 3 turns. The heal also increases by 25% for each poison debuff on the enemy team, okay? Now, let's look at his passive, when attack has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff on the attacker for 2 turns and occurs once per hit. So if he's hit twice, he has 2 chances of landing that poison debuff. Now that is insane. When you think clan boss, when you think of multi-hitter bosses, he's landing all of those poisons passively and then can just go about his business. And especially when you're thinking of bosses, just using these two, just protecting, decreasing damage, protecting, decreasing damage, and then if you're on the Magma Dragon or Hydra, you also have to provoke as well. Insanely good champion. Hell Hades has picked him, so you know you can't be far wrong going for him. So that's choice number 1. Choice number 2 is, we'll go with Fireburn. Okay, so choice number 2 is Fireburn. Okay, as in fire, as in what will burn you, and burn as in what a fire does to you. All right, that is going to give you a HP burner. Okay, I can't get it. Valid only for new players. That's why I'm saying these new player codes very important. That's going to give you Mordecai, guys. So Mordecai is here. He is a Force Affinity Sacred Order champion. 30% chance of decreasing target's turn meter by 10%. 60% chance if the target is under HP burn. 75% chance of decreasing the turn meter all enemies by 15%. And fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. So that's a 30% difference that you're making with that move on a 3-turn cooldown. Books to 100% as well. And 100% chance of a HP burn when booked on a 4-turn cooldown on AoE for 2 turns, and places a 50% increased attack on all allies, and has wow, that's actually pretty good. So an increased accuracy in all battles by 40% is really good early game, guys. Really good. But this HP burn is going to help you out in Spider, it's going to help you out in Ice Golem, it's going to help you out in Hydra, especially coupled with the turn meter control. This is huge, and I'm kind of thinking maybe I should have went for him, because the areas I'm bashing my head against are Spider and Hydra, and that AoE HP burn is massive for those areas. So not only does that give you Mordecai, guys, it also gives you 10 Force Brews, 50 multi-battles, and 200k silver. Now another clever pick would be Mycilium, and Mycilium is mushrooms. So Mycilium, ooh, that's not right. Okay, Mycilium is mushrooms. Again, I can't, if one of these works now when I'm checking this, I'll be very happy. But yeah, valid only for new players. Now, that is Myciliac Priest Orn. Okay, guys, a champion so good that he had to be nerfed before he was released. Okay, so Orn is in the Sylvan Watchers. This is him, good old mushrooms head himself. Now, what does Orn do? Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit, 15% chance of placing a 5% poison for 2 turns. Books up to 25% when booked. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 75% chance of instantly activating 5% poison debuff on the target. Okay, so he's a poison activator as well. Now, attacks all enemies, so AoE, 50%, booking to 75 of placing 2 big poison debuffs and a poison sensitivity, guys, for 2 turns. Heals this champion by 1% of their max HP for each poison debuff placed by this skill. So you build this guy fast and with accuracy, and he's going to do a hell of a lot of work for you. Now, poison sensitivity is important. Why is it important, Dahi? It is important because poison sensitivity debuff increases the damage taken from the poison debuff by the recipient by 25%. 5% poison debuffs become a lot stronger for you. They're getting a 1.25% increase in damage, which means you have to place less to do more. Okay, now coupled with his passive, whenever a poison debuff is activated on an enemy, increases this champion's HP and defense by 5% and stacks up to 25%. Guys, I don't need to tell you that that's massive. Being able to get your quarter of your HP and defense added on again every time a poison is activated is absolutely massive. Now, it does reset each round, so when you get to a boss, you'll have to build it up again. But it is huge. So that's Mycilium was that one, okay? Now, on to the next one, and that is mid-game top. So we already had the one used by Hell Hades, which was the one for Toragi. This one is mid-game top, and that was used by Nubraids. Okay, so mid-game top, again, won't work for me, unfortunately, but that will give you a Banner Lord, okay? And he's the great-grandfather or something of Signy. He is Sigmund the Highshield, okay? For some bizarre reason, people, and I get it, I think, but kind of look down on Sigmund a little bit, but he is massive. His A3, when booked on a 3-turn cooldown, gives you quite a big shield and a strengthen on all allies for 2 turns. Now, I think the reason people aren't as fond of him is he is a defense-based champion, but the shield is based on HP, so his kit needs a little bit of fine-tuning, but he's an incredible progression champ, guys. Incredible, okay? So his A2 also gives you some soft CC in Provoke. Okay, so it gives you AoE provoke and AoE decrease attack on all enemies. Attacks twice. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a provoke for 1 turn and a 75% chance, booking to 100 chance of placing a 50% decrease attack for 2 turns. Okay, then, not to be overlooked, his A1 attacks 1 enemy, removes any shields, okay? Also has a 50% chance of removing 1 random buff. So he's a buff stripper now too. 75% chance instead when attacking bosses, which means that it's a 100% chance when booked. What does that mean? It means that your magic affinity dungeon has now become very, very easy, because all he has to do is attack with the A1, and that boss has no shield, definitely, and also has a chance, 100% chance when booked, of removing their buffs as well. And that's what that boss is all about. So he's a really good start, very good for progressing waves in Doom Tower, very good for keeping you alive in Clan Boss, in all the other waves as well. And then, not to be forgotten about, the passive here, whenever he's attacked, has a 20% chance of decreasing the duration of all buffs on the attacker by 1 turn, and has a 40% chance instead when attacked by a boss. Okay, so even if he's not attacking with the A1, he's passively reducing the duration of any buffs on anyone that attacks him. Okay, very, very good, very, very powerful. Did I tell you what else came with that? No, I did not. You also get 100 energy, 5 magic brews, 700k silver, a set of 50 multi-battles, 5 greater arcane potions, 1 3-day experience boost, and 1 silver chest as well. So that is really good, really, really good, guys. You'll have Karato for offense, Karato and Kale for offense. You'll have Sigmund the Highshield for defense. What's not to love? Now, finally, the one that I used, and I think is the most popular one on the free-to-play series as well, is this incredible chappy, Monkey King. Okay, so the inimitable Wukong, invalid promo code because I have used it already. Now, he is in the Skinwalkers, guys. He is Sun Wukong. Okay, so he has a stun on the A1. If there's any buffs on the target, it moves up to 50% or book to 75. On the A2, ignores 50% of the target's defense, and if he kills whoever he attacks, the remaining enemies will get any surplus damage dealt as true damage. It will also ignore 50% of the target's defense, and the attack cannot be critical. However, if he doesn't kill whoever he has attacked, he does place a sheep debuff, and the debuff cannot be blocked. Okay, extremely powerful for control, extremely powerful for damage. So he has control and damage on the A1, control and damage and AoE damage on the A2. On the A3, AoE damage, but before attacking steals all buffs from all enemies and then places block buffs debuff on them for 2 turns. That is, you don't have to book that. That is a 100% chance right off the bat. That's huge, guys. Really, really powerful, really strong. So again, you think about that magic dungeon. the boss there, you're stealing the shield off them straight away. I think, is it the Force one? Buffs himself as well. Stealing that off. You're thinking about Nether Spider, the counter attack on the Spiderlings. You're stripping that off with that straight away. Any boss or any mechanic that has buffs involved, he's able to remove them and then also prevent them putting them back on with block buffs. So that's massive, guys. Really, really strong. But his passive is insane. Revives himself with 100% HP and 100% turn meter 3 turns after they were killed. There's no cooldown on that. Do you see any cooldown there? There's no cooldown. Where is it? Where? Can't see it. There's none. It's massive. So yeah, he's the one I picked for very good reason. And actually, this is the reason as well. 28% speed in arena battles on an aura when you're starting the game. If you have him and somebody else doesn't, if you have him in the lead, you're winning the speed race 90% of the times. Okay? Because that is effectively going to work out at an extra 28 speed that you have. Like, his base speed is 105. So what? It's 28 plus 28% of 5, whatever that is. So it's maybe 101.3, something like that. So that's going to be huge. You're going to win the speed race in arenas. Even if you don't, he's going to get killed, come back to life with full turn meter. You're going to be able to attack and you're going to win that way. That's the one I went for, guys, because it also gives you 15 spirit XP brews, 300k silver, and 15 greater spirit potions as well, which goes a long way to getting him ascended. All right, that's only day 1, guys. Day 1. All right, so you've used the link below, finished tutorial, gotten Karato, you've picked your champion, okay? You have, I think, for me, thinking of the code I have and the champions you're going to get, I think maybe Orn, Mordecai, or Sigmund are the ones I would go for with this code, because the code I have for you down there is so good. It's just, those are the champions that are going to work best. So you're on day 2 and you have been pushing your campaign, right? You've just pushed normal and hard campaign as much as you can. You're leveling up stuff all the time, non-stop, right? That's all you're wanting to do. You're wanting to level champions and food, build stuff up and get your level up, okay? When you get your level up to level 25, okay, which you easily done within the first day. It's pretty easily done within the first day, okay? You're going to get your hands on Uugo. Uugo is an amazing champion, and for about a year, guys, I'd say a good year of me playing the game initially, I didn't really understand it. I didn't really get why everybody raved about Uugo. Now that I'm 4 years deep in the game, that sounds too long. That's just a lot of grey in the beard. So now that I'm around 4 years, it's basically because she's so pretty. Look at that face. No, she applies leech on her A1, okay? And the chance increases by 5% for each enemy alive. So if you're attacking waves, you have a 20 plus 25% chance of doing that, so you're up to 60% chance of placing leech. You also have AoE, decreased defense, and block buffs on a 3-turn cooldown when booked, okay? So attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing decreased defense, also has a 50% chance of placing block buffs debuff for 2 turns, and the chance of placing block buffs debuff. That's confusing. Increases by 5% for each enemy alive. So again, she's boosting up that chance of you being able to do this, right? So then you have this, removes all heal reduction debuffs from all allies, and then removes 1 random debuff from all allies, and then heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP, which is extremely strong. As an epic, she's with just shy of 20,000 HP, nothing to be sniffed at all. As well, and she should be built quite tanky, so if all your squishy champions are dead, if all your allies are dead, she revives them with 50% HP and fills their turn meters by 50% as well, okay? You know, where else are you going to get that, guys? And another reason she might be your last one alive is because of this passive. Whenever they're all killed, places a 30% increased speed buff and a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn whenever this champion's last living ally is killed. So you always put her back of your team, okay? So she'll be in the last slot. I'll show you what I mean by that, guys, quite easily here. She'd be going in this slot. here. Well, let's just make sure of that. No, yeah, this slot here. And that means that if an AoE attack hits everybody, she'll be the last one there. That block damage will kick in. She'll get a speed boost, and then she'll also be able to come back, use that A3 and revive your entire team and fill their turn meter as well. So that is your level 25 gift from using that code below, guys. Extremely good, extremely powerful. Now we're on to this is our day 2. This is our day 2. So we have another promo code for you to use as well, and the one I would say to use today is yearly gift. Okay, so yearly gift, and I'll type it in here as well. Yearly gift, I've already used it, so it's no good. We'll put it in there again. That's the one there. So yearly gift is going to be the one to use today, and that is going to give you, it's going to give you some good stuff. 150 multi-battles, guys. It's going to give you a 4-star chicken to help you level up your Uugo or your Mordecai or your Myciliac Priest Orn or whoever. Okay, it's also going to give you 10 XP brews, 500k silver, and 100 energy as well, because you're going to need that energy for more farming. So you're going to get them, you're going to level up your Uugo, you have a chicken there, you've hopefully been leveling up all your food as well, and you're going to be able to put that into these champions to bring them up to the next level. Okay, so we're on to then the next day, and hopefully on this day you have pushed up again and you're at a higher level, and we're looking at our next champion is going to be, no, it's probably not going to be the next day. Okay guys, it's probably going to be on your day 4 maybe, but your day 3 code is going to be 1M gift. Okay, so 1M gift is your day 3 code. Again, not going to work for me because I've already used it, but 1M gift is 300k silver, 1 energy refill, 2 rare skill tomes, and 3 rank 3 chickens as well. Okay, so use that, use it well. 1M gift. All right, there it is on screen. That's going to give you all of those resources, guys, again, to help you level up your champions. And actually thinking about it now, you may be able to reverse them. Maybe use 1M gift first, because you can use 1M gift to level up your kale. 3 rank 3 chickens is very hard to say. 3 rank 3 chickens into kale brings them up to level 4, and then use the yearly gift one for the 4-star chicken to help get them to 5 then as well. Okay, so that's extremely good, and you're still pushing campaign and farming there, building up your resources so as you can level up. And we're on to the next day now, and the next day then we have your next code for you. Okay, so you can also get, we will go with only for mid-game subs. Okay, only for mid-game subs. I'll leave it on screen there for a minute, and while we talk about that, that's going to give you 1 4-star chicken, so that's 2 you have now plus whatever food you've built up. It's going to give you 10 XP brews, 200k silver as well. All right, and you should be getting to the point now where you're able to build your first 60. You can build your first 60 within the first day if you're really pushing it, and if you know what you're doing. So this should really help you get there. Only for mid-game subs, no hope. But that will give you all of those resources as well. Now you should be at a level where you're going to get your next champion, guys, and the next champion is going to be Rector Drath. Rector Drath is Knight Revenant, epic champion, Force Affinity, if I'm not wrong. I am not wrong. Very handsome lady, and she is attacking one enemy with a chance of placing decrease attack. Now, I don't know what it is about this, but it never seems to, like, it says it's a 35 booking to 50% chance. I don't know, guys. It always seems to work for me. Always seems to work. So yeah, that's pretty cool, but that's not why she's so cool. Heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. After healing, places a perfect veil buff for 2 turns on all allies with full HP. Now, places a 15% continuous heal buff for 1 turn instead on allies with less than 100% HP. Okay, so she heals. If she doesn't fully heal everyone, the ones she doesn't, she's going to get to 100 HP anyway via the continuous heal. That's extremely good and becomes even more impressive when you see what the rest of her kit does, okay? So this one here then is revives a single ally with 60% HP and fills their turn meter by 60% and places a perfect veil buff on them for 3 turns. So that means she brings them back to life and nobody can single target them. And they're also going to receive less damage from AoE attacks because of the perfect veil. Right now we look at this passive. I think she was one of the first champions I knew of that had a passive. Passives weren't a thing. Now whenever an ally under a veil or perfect veil gets a turn, she heals them by 10% of their max HP. So remember the continuous heal from earlier on if they weren't fully healed? That's doing the continuous heal and potentially also doing this. Also increases the resistance of all allies under veil or perfect veil by 50%, which is huge. It's very easy to ignore resistance early game, but even if you looked at some of Hell Hades' videos recently, he talks about the only reason he was able to progress so far as well as he did is because he stacked resistance and built it up. She gives you it for free. For free, guys. Who doesn't like free stuff? Speaking of free stuff, let's go on to the code for the next day. She also, by the way, in Doom Tower gives 50% or 55 extra points in resistance. Speaking of that, okay? Now, so the next day we have our next code, and that is welcome gift. That's an invalid promo code for me, but not for you. I've done a boo-boo, guys. I shouldn't have been doing that. But welcome gift is the code. So maybe editor, can we put that up on screen? Welcome gift, and that is going to be Bellower, 11 Void Brews, 100k silver, and 3 rare books. Okay. So that's going to give you Bellower. Bellower is an AoE attack champion, and he provides a hell of a lot of debuffs as well. So where is he here? He's a rare. What am I doing, guys? He's also a void. AoE on all skills. You see, everything starts with attacks all enemies. Also provides speed and faction crypts. Now, if you think about it, who else did you get from Ogre and Tribes? You got Uugo. So when you're thinking about your faction crypts, there's a great start on getting those done as well. But also, if you put him in a stun set, he's doing AoE stun on every attack as well. But he attacks all enemies, block active skills, which you already have from Karato as well. So we're doubling up on it here. We have decreased speed debuff for 2 turns and a 50% chance on the AoE, booked up to 75% chance. AoE though, guys, 3 turn cooldown when booked. And then on the A3, when booked, has a 4 turn cooldown. AoE again, 100% chance of placing a 25% decrease attack for 2 turns, and 100% when booked of placing a 30% decrease defense buff for 2 turns. Guys, that's massive. That's really, really good. Some of the most important debuffs in the game, all coming on an AoE. You can't ask for better than that. And you know what, guys? Use that one first. Actually use that one first, okay? It's going to be much better off for you if you have him for farming, for early progression, for all of those debuffs provided. Use welcome gift first, okay? So that'll be your day 1, and then maybe use one of the other ones later, okay? Definitely, I think I'd rearrange like that. That's going to be your best bet. Now, the point we're at now, we should have been leveling up pretty hard, and we're going to have another free champion now at level 45, guys, and that's going to be an orc by the name of Tagoar. Tagoar was my first level 60, guys, in this challenge, and Tagoar is amazing. On the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times, places a 60% increased defense debuff for 2 turns on the ally with the lowest HP. On the A2, increased speed, AoE, all allies, 2 turns, heals by 15% of his max HP on a 3 turn cooldown when booked, and 20% more healing there as well. and revives all dead allies with 30% HP. Also places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns equal to 20% of his max HP. And then the passive decreases the damage received by allies with 50% HP or less by 10%. He does it all. He brings so much. He brings a shield because you can use this even when allies aren't down, and he like, even if you revive somebody, the shield goes on all allies anyway, so that's great. He's protecting you when you're weak. He's giving you more speed and healing, and he's giving you increased defense to the person that's the most wounded as well. And he has a good base HP and defense as well, and a good speed. He's a really good champion, and also gives you 25% more HP in all battles. So very, very good champion. And like I say, it was my first 60 this time around when I started the new account, guys. So can't go wrong with Tagoar. Extremely good champion. Now, guys, for our last day and our last champion from the promo, or from the promo link, which is down below, you have Mausoleum Mage. Okay, Mausoleum Mage. And I still have one more promo code for you guys. Don't forget, Mausoleum Mage, Undead Hordes champion. Actually, is he? Now, here is no, I'm not wrong. I'm just way too smart. 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. That's excellent. Single target. Really, really good to be able to place that. Even if it's a lower chance, it does book up to 50% chance. Now, this, not many champions supply 3 different buffs at the same time, okay? So places a 30% increased crit rate, a 60% increase defense on all allies for 2 turns, and then also places a block debuffs buff on all allies for 1 turn. So that's huge. Block debuffs early on in the game is hard to get your hands on, so having that there with Mausoleum Mage is massive and makes a huge difference to any account, especially the fact that, look, it only needs 1 book to have that on a 3-turn cooldown. Even having it on the 4-turn cooldown is extremely worthwhile. Couple that with this, and you see he does a full AoE cleanse. So you like, if you're poisoned or whatever, say the spider, nether spider is where I'm banging my head in on floor 70 in Doom Tower at the moment, removes all debuffs from all allies, then heals all allies by 10% of this champion's max HP, heals each ally by a further 10% if 1 or more debuffs are removed from that ally, and finally fills each ally's turn meter by 15% if 2 or more debuffs are removed from that ally. So extremely powerful AoE cleanse, heal and turn meter boosts there, dependent on what debuffs are on you. And then once that's done, he can come round to his turn again and place block debuffs on, so that basically you can't get any more debuffs on you as well. So a very powerful champion, and one then that, because of these 3 buffs, also pairs extremely well with Seer for more advanced comps later on down the road, guys. Now we also come to our last but not least of our codes, and that is something I'm not able to put on up here. So what I will do is I'll bring it up like this here instead, okay? So we have 1 week gift. That may be very small for some of you guys, so I don't know, Mark, if we can bring that up on the screen, but 1 week gift. So that's the digit number 1, WEEKG for golf, I for indigo, F for foxtrot, and T for tango. And that is the final one that we have for you here today, guys. And that is going to give you 6 pieces of Slayer set. Now, why is Slayer set important, guys? Because it's going to give you 6 pieces of 6-star Slayer set, like this right here. And Slayer gives you crit rate for 1 piece, crit damage for 2 pieces, 5% speed for 3, turn meter fill on AoE attacks for 4, more crit rate for 5, and ignores enemy defense when using AoE skills with 6 pieces, which is massive, guys. And it's a limited set as well, which means you can't just pick it up anywhere. It is only out in the Forge Pass at certain times, but you get 6 pieces for free when you use that code. So guys, that is my Link code, which is down below. Use it. It is the best one. I don't think any other code gives you 5 champions like that. Even the code I used starting out didn't give me that. You have a code for every day of the week. Then as well, you have a choice of 5 champions from the free codes at the start, and then you have 6 codes to use to get you more resources and more gear and another champion as well throughout to build your thing up. Okay, so that's the best possible 1 week start that you can have in Raid Shadow Legends, guys. Use the code below, like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye bye.